Love my Auntie y'all. Well, I'm saying y'all because somebody might watch the playback. Nobody's here right now. However, I was led to come live. I haven't been live on Facebook. I mean, get it together, Robyn. I haven't been live on YouTube in a very long time. So I was called to go live, and I'm like, it's like mad late. Like, nobody's going to be on. But then I'm like, you know what? I don't know that. I don't know that for sure. And it may not even be that it's meant for somebody to be on right now. Maybe it's just meant for me to be on to share whatever resonates at this time. I was up and making candles. I just finished pouring my last batch of candles. I did 8 different scents over the course of the last 3 days. Over the course of the last 3 days. So I have the last batch that needs to cure, and then I'll be able to move on to the next step with them. However, I'm really excited because if this is your first time coming across my video, thank you for being here. If you have been here before, thank you for returning. You may or may not know that I make candles. It has been a nice little hiatus that I took in my candle making because of where I was spiritually and energetically. And my candles are energetically infused. So, because I was going through my hibernation and a process of releasing that which no longer served me, that which I thought belonged to me but did not. I had to cleanse and recalibrate my energy, as well as remember who I am and what I came here for. So, as a result of that, I took a hiatus on making the candles. So, that had been quite some time. However, there was a period during my hibernation where I was inspired to make some candles. And when I did, I elevated the vessels. That's what we call the jars, the vessels, the lids, and the labels. So I have a few of those, and I'm going to show you. Um, However, I'm also making some new upgrades. So I'm going to show you the ones that I have right now. And like I shared in the beginning, I just poured some candles. So they're curing right now in the new vessels with the new lid. They're going to have new labels, which I'm really, really excited about. However, the ones that I already made, I'm going to show you those, okay? And I pulled out 5 cents. And that's another thing, too. I'm not continuing with some of the scents that I had before just because, like, I don't know. I just feel like I want to streamline. I had so many scents. However, I'm still keeping the same principles. And some of my, hey, Adrian, I'm talking about candles right now. So your question is kind of like, you know, out of line with what I'm talking about right now. However, I appreciate you being here. So I kept some of my most popular scents, and then I added some new scents that kind of resonate with where I'm at right now. So, um, in the energy frequency that I'm operating from and what I'm infusing in the candles. So this one right here is lavender and sandalwood, and my candles have crystals in them as well. Um, so they work hand in hand with the oils, the, the crystals, and the energy that's infused in the candles. And this one is lavender sandalwood with rainbow moonstone. And this one is for your crown chakra. It helps clears and protects your aura, and it helps bring and establish inner peace and balance. So when I first was selling them or offering them, I was offering them as intention, manifestation, and energy tools. However, this time when I'm presenting them as tools to utilize in ceremony for when you are doing your rituals, or you have your altar, or you pray, or you meditate. Whatever it is your spiritual, um, or whatever it is that you do to commune and connect the spirit to source, to whatever it is that you acknowledge. So this one is the love candle. This one is lavender and vanilla with rose quartz, and it's for your heart chakra. So it reduces stress and anxiety. It promotes calmness, attracts and promotes love. And this right here, you could just ignore that. I kind of dropped it, but I have other ones that are not like that. But so you can see the rose quartz, and I call this my little my essence, like my magic, where I put the pretty splitter on top like that. Um, and then this one was a really popular one. This one is white sage and citrus with citrine. Did it have citrine in it? Yeah. Citrine, and it's for your solar plexus chakra. Hi, Hank, or You Are Legend. Hi, You Are Legend. Thank you, Adrian. Uh, Positive Tro, I don't understand. Oy no triles majando. I don't understand what that means. All right, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I'm just talking about my candles and how I am going through a rebranding of my candles. So I'm showing the ones that I was making prior and how they look prior, and then I'm gonna show the new vessels with the lids are over there, so I'm not gonna get up and get the lids, but I'm gonna show you the new vessels. And yeah, I just want to come on and talk about my candles. So this one is white sage and citrus with citrine. It's for your solar plexus. It cleanses and energizes the space, attracts professional success and wealth. So that's the citrine on top, and all of them had that glitter on it. And again, all of the candles are like infused with energy to help support whatever the energy that the crystals and the oils combine together to emit. And this one is sandalwood and vanilla. This one was a very popular scent as well. And this one has sodalite, and it has it's for your third eye and your throat chakra. And you can utilize it during meditation, for spiritual divine communication, calming, and cleansing your aura. So some of the crystals be loose, so I'm trying not to drop see like that. They don't all like melt into the crystal. I mean, into the candle, not the crystal, into the candle. And then I have this one was a very, very popular one. Like this scent and the purpose of this candle was very, very popular. So this one is Palo Santo Patchouli, and it has golden tiger's eye, and it was for your solar plexus. It clears space of unwanted energy, courage in times of change, the stone of protection, and for good luck and prosperity. So that's what this candle looks like. And the scents that I am going to be offering this time is I'm keeping Palo Santo Patchouli. I'm going to have Egyptian amber, which I did have before, but I'm going to have Egyptian amber, white sage and citrus, sandalwood vanilla, excuse me. And those are all scents that I had before. And what I'm adding on new is it's called Sweet Honey and Liqueur, bergamot Tabasco. I mean tobacco. I said Tabasco. Bergamot tobacco, and this one is Mary Jane and birch tree. And then I also have a frankincense and myrrh, which I did have before, and that one I had moss agate in it. This time I'm gonna have four categories. I'm gonna have love, which focuses on self love, self healing, and you can utilize it to attract romantic love. However, it's primarily for self-love, because the love that we attract is often, if not every time, affected or attracted by the love that we give ourselves. So, I had a question. All right, so it's going to be a love candle, and it's going to be 2 cents in that category, with a fluctuation of 2 crystals, but the main crystal is going to be rose quartz. And then it's going to be a grounding and protection candle, and that also is going to have 2 cents with with two fluctuating crystals, but the main crystal is going to be obsidian, black obsidian, or snowflake obsidian. And then the next category is abundance. And that's going to have 2 cents, and that's going to have one main crystal. And if I recall correctly, that main crystal is sodalite. I believe it's sodalite, either sodalite or uh, tiger's eye. However, I'm not sure. I don't have it memorized. I have it all on my computer. And then the fourth category is what I say, protection and grounding, love, abundance. Oh, spiritual connection for connection. And that one's going to also have 2 cents. And the main crystal is going to be amethyst for that one. But it's also going to have 2 crystals that it fluctuates with. So those are the scents that'll be available paired with the crystals. And then these are the new vessels. I didn't complete these. I'm still in the process of making them. However, these are the new vessels compared to these vessels. And then these lids are gold, and these lids will be black. And I believe I have some gold lids left over. So some of them in the new vessels will have, in the new blue vessels will have gold lids. So these candles that I'm creating now, like I said, is for those that have a practice or want to start a practice of clearing their energy and doing energy work with themselves, and creating a ritual or a ceremony. And the candles are designed to support you in your ceremony, in your prayer and your ritual, and whatever you label it, right? Because we are all different and we all have different experiences, so different words may trigger us to feel a certain way. Because I know for a while ritual just didn't resonate in my spirit because of the things that I had experienced, and with religion and different beliefs. And I had to really like get to a point where I purged the things that people told me and the things that I believed based on what I was taught. And once I cleared all of that out, then I was able to remember, right? Remember my own sacred practices, my own sacred remembering of what resonates in my being as part of my practice of communing with Source and my spirit guides and my spirit team. So ritual resonates more with me. A ritual is simply something that you do consistently, like you do over and over again with an intention. Like you have a thought and an intention behind it when you're doing it. So yeah, though the candles are a tool. I'm offering them as a tool, as well as because they are infused with my energy, and because I am an energy architect and a cosmic technician, and all of the things that I am, then the candles possess an energy that is potent when the person who is utilizing and burning them is open to receive, open to experience, open to shift, open to grow, open to releasing. Because ultimately, the things that we want to create in our reality, it all starts with what's happening in our internal reality, right? So if we are lacking peace, then it's very challenging to have peace in our physical reality because we're not at peace within. So, and as well as like love, right? Having romantic relationships, having platonic relationships that love is a frequency that is being exchanged between two or more people, um, it's hard to have that kind of experience if we haven't cultivated love within ourselves, where we haven't healed our own heart and cleared the debris and the blockages that prevent us from calling in that love. And most of the time, it's because we haven't cultivated that love within ourselves, that we're looking outside of ourselves. And we're looking outside of ourselves for it because we lack it within. And when we go through the process of, removing the blockages, clearing out the way so that our heart can heal and we can hear him or her again, um, then we naturally start to attract that frequency, that vibration. And that love frequency isn't just like connected to people, right? It's connected to opportunities because it's energy and energy flows, right? So it's connected to opportunities, it's connected to experiences, it's connected to clarity, right? And healing, elevation and growth. So when I was going through my hibernation, there were different tools that I utilized and being able to rid myself of quite a bit that I had accumulated and I had accepted from different relationships, different experiences that I had, um, and the doctrines that I allowed myself to fully engulf myself in, right? So, um, when I was in hibernation, I did different. I didn't know that they were techniques. I simply was just doing what resonated with me, and I still don't think they're techniques. However, I resonated to different tools. And although I was in hibernation and I wasn't making candles anymore, like I said, there was a period of time where I did have a burst of energy, um, and my energy was aligned to make candles. So I did. However, they end up being a part of my my process, right, of healing. They began to become one of the tools that I utilize. So because of that, I want to be sure that I offer them to those that are also looking for tools to assist them in remembering who they are and what they came here for. And I have another thing that I want to work on too, because another tool that I utilize in my ceremonies is incense. So I bought some things so that I can make some incense and offer those as well. So I'm super excited about that because this is like my first time doing it. I've been making candles since 2020. So the incense is like introducing something new, creative. Um, and a sacred tool. So I'm excited about making them and then, burning them myself and working with the energy and seeing, you know, and then introducing them to you all. So I'm really excited about that. Um, so yeah, the candles are coming online. Um, I'm looking forward to adding them to my website. My website is active, and I do have some offerings over there that I think I have like 3 or 4 offerings over there of services that are available. If you resonate with my energy and you would like some support and sacred space to be held for you while you are navigating your remembrance, right? Or if you may feel like there are some energies that may be interfering with what it is that you're cultivating in your healing, in your growth, in your evolution, and you want some support and some assistance or guidance on how to go about it, um, I have experience with that. So my services are available at www.shineyourlight777.life. Um, I think it's like in the information section of my YouTube channel. However, you could check that out. Again, only if it resonates, and if so, I would be honored to be able to assist you and support you on your journey to remembrance. And then there were some things that was resonating in my spirit just to just share, put out in the energetic field, and Perhaps it'll resonate and be a benefit to someone. Um, so I believe I posted a video a little while back about the idea of having energetic like contracts, right? Soul contracts with individuals that we cross paths with on our journey, and how in those agreements there is supposed to be an exchange that takes place. In most agreements, not all of them, but in most agreements there's supposed to be an exchange, even if that exchange doesn't take place like immediately, right? Like one person could be could have agreed to, let's say for example, give love, right? Give love and support with where the person was on their journey, and then later on, that person keeps their word, do what they're supposed to do. Then they part ways and they go continue on their path. And then one person is supposed to still um, still fulfill their word, their agreement. And it may or may not be where the person is supposed to directly, like, I hope this makes sense. It's not always where the person is supposed to directly engage with you again. Sometimes it is something that they do that energetically releases whatever was supposed to come to you from the interaction of you keeping your word of the soul contract. And because free will really is a thing, like free will really is a thing. We don't get made to do anything, right? However, we still agree, we still gave our word. So although we're not being made to do it, it's still written that we're supposed to do it in our Akashic records or soul agreements. Um, so when that doesn't take place, then there has to be a shift or an adjustment so that the person that is supposed to receive, they still receive. And oftentimes, the plan has to be, it has to be realigned, because we're not going to be without, especially when we kept our word and did what we were supposed to do according to the soul contract. Now, the thought that was coming to my mind is how there will be people who, like, they get the inclination, they get the thought, they are inspired to do something or give something or offer something. However, because of ego or whatever earthly thing be going on with people, they refuse to keep their agreement. And I was thinking about how it's so interesting that people think that they can receive based on a soul contract, right? Based on an energetic agreement, they can receive and just like walk away and not energetically complete the cycle, right? The cipher. And we're in a time where we are receiving what it is that we have earned, right? There's a universal law of what you put out, you get back. And oftentimes what we put out, when we get it back, it doesn't come through the same channel that we put out. So we have to be wise and open to recognize when we're being rewarded for what we put out. We are in a time now where many people are receiving the harvest, right? We just left out of fall season, or I think we're still at the tail end of fall because winter doesn't officially start. The winter solstice doesn't officially start until December 21st, if I recall correctly. So we are in harvest season, and there are people who are harvesting from the seeds that they have planted. And I've seen many people, right? Like I've seen many people on different timelines on social media where they are expressing the blessings. They are expressing like engagements and being married and expecting new babies and starting businesses and like excelling in their business. Their business is blowing up. Like the opportunities that they're being presented with now are things that they used to dream about or have on their vision board. So I can see not only, so first of all, I did a video some time ago where I was picking up on the energy, and I shared the energy months ago that we were in harvest season and that many were, the floodgates were about to open, and many were about to receive some of the rewards from what they had, the seeds that they had sowed. They're about to start reaping. Um, However, now I'm starting to see the physical evidence of the energy that I was picking up and experiencing months ago. So I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful, and I'm very excited because we've been through hell. Like many of us have been through. Oh my God, we have been through a lot. Many people call it like the dark night of the soul, or the test of Job, or it's so many different things that it can be related to. However, it was exactly what our spirit, our soul needed to be able to release the things that were holding us back, the things that were weighing on us and preventing us from seeing who we truly are and what our power is, as well as healing. Many of us continue to move in. Um, what is that called? Survival mode. So many of us continue to like hustle and grind and be in survival mode, and we don't take the time to sit still to breathe, right? And allow our bodies to feel safe and to assure our inner child that they are safe and it's free for them to come out and to share um, what makes them happy, right? And the importance of being connected to our heart, because when we are in survival mode and grinding, uh, oftentimes that's also connected to being disassociated from your heart, because in order for you to be in survival mode, you would have had to go through some things that caused you to feel like you needed to survive, right? And being connected to our heart ensures that we are connected to source. And when we're connected to source, we don't feel like we're in survival mode, right? Because source is the source of all life, right? Source is the generator of all life. So when we are connected to source, our hearts are open, we are expressing love to ourselves, we are allowing ourselves to be free, we are expressing the joy, the happiness, the peace, and the freedom that comes from our inner child, right? That happiness, that joy, that innocence that we had before the world dirtied us up, right? Beat us up. And many of us, we experienced that in our homes, right? Because we were with parents that were also on their journey and having to heal and release things that were placed on them in their childhood, from their parents, and sometimes from their own decisions on their unique journey that they were traveling. So we were in a household with people who were unhealed and were battling their own, I don't want to say demons, but having their own struggles to grow and evolve and release and heal and love themselves. So as a result, we took on, the evidence of that. And many of us don't realize the impact or the effect that our childhood had on us until we're grown, right? Until we're adults. So we've already had children of our own. And, it takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength to really look back on your childhood and your upbringing to really see things and acknowledge things for what they really were, and not the way that as a child we process them so that we can continue to make it through, right? Continue to be strong, to push through whatever the uncomfortability was. Because as a child, to process, that my parents are, or my parent is yelling and cussing at me, or they're punishing me or beating me, um, because they have their own inner struggles. We didn't have that thought. I know I didn't. I thought, she didn't want me to be happy. I thought she didn't love me. I thought that, I thought a lot of things, right? As a child. However, as an adult, as I continued to grow and evolve my children my own, I began to understand that she was doing the best that she could with what she had. And she was also a unique spirit and soul that was navigating her own journey without a lot of the tools that I have, right? Because of the path that I walked. So she really was doing the best that she could. And then even after that, in my awakening and going through my hibernation, I gained an even greater understanding, right? That that was all part of the big picture for me to be who I am right now in this very moment. And when we're able to walk through that process while acknowledging the truth, right? Because free will really is a thing. So, although tools weren't readily available, right? Or I'll say tools were in her possession, the pursuit is everything. When you pursue truth, when you pursue support, when you pursue understanding, when you're pursuing your purpose, everything will be made available to you. So, I had to acknowledge the truth of certain things concerning, my upbringing, as many of us on the spiritual journey do, because the power is in the truth, right? Not the romanticized version of what took place, because multiple things can be held space for at the same time, right? It could be true that she did the best that she can. However, it can also be true that it wasn't enough for me as a child, and that was being developed to be who I am in my remembrance. So it's a beautiful journey. However, it's not without the pressures, right? Because it takes time and pressure to become a diamond. It takes, pressure. I think about the potter's clay, right? And I think there's a verse in the Bible, or I might just get it from one of the in my head I'm saying Christian songs, but I don't know if that's the proper terminology for gospel. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if it's from the Bible or if it's one of the gospel songs that I remember from a child or young adult. However, it spoke about the potter's clay and being molded by the potter. And even being clay, there's some pressure that has to be applied to mold the clay into the end result, right, of what it is designed to be, or the vision for it to be. So this journey won't be without, the pressures or the uncomfortabilities. However, it's all about how we process it. We can really go through this experience and have some positive results come from some uncomfortable things when we're being truthful, when we're being open, and we're being optimistic, right? And understanding that things are not happening to us, they're happening for us, even if we don't understand them right now, that the understanding is always there. However, we have to grow into the readiness for the understanding, because, you know, truth out of season is like no truth at all. And if a person isn't ready for the truth, then it could do damage. It could do more damage than it does good. So I will that something in what I'm sharing serves you and assists you on your journey, no matter where you are right now. You may be the person that is already experiencing the rewards, the harvest coming in. You may be someone that already feels the vibration of it, however, it hasn't quite landed in your 3D. However, you can see the evidence, the breadcrumbs of it coming. You may be someone that is thick in the tunnel, and you like, girl, I don't even know what you're talking about. Blessings, like, I'm out here trying to duck and weave, bob and weave. Um, I want you to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And as long as you continue to put one foot in front of the other, then you're going to get to the end of the tunnel. And there's going to come a point where there's going to be a glimmer of light. There's going to be a glimmer of light. And it is serving two things, two purposes. One is inspiration for you to keep walking, for you to keep putting one foot in front of the other. The second is for you to know that you're almost there, right? You're almost out of the tunnel. You're almost out of the darkness. And before you know it, you'll be embraced in the light, and you'll have understanding and clarity as to why you had to go through and endure the things that you did. And I would encourage you to maintain your heart, right? It is it's so easy to do, right? In my mind, it's like, it is easy, but I do understand that, it can be challenging depending on what your journey is and the things that you um, signed up to experience, what karma you're here to clear, what's in your bloodline that you are healing and releasing. So I'm not going to take lightly what you may experience or may be experiencing. However, there is power in your thoughts, right? When you really look to see what the lesson is, what's the valuable jewel, how they say looking for a needle in a haystack. Look for the needle, right? Because it's there, right? It's there. And sometimes it's so much, hay that you like, I can't see the needle. Just trusting that it's there sometimes is enough to carry you through. Or you don't always have to see it or put your hands on it. Just knowing that it's there and that there's going to come a period in time where you're going to see the needle, have the needle, possess the needle. Um, Sometimes it's enough to keep us motivated and encouraged and inspired to keep pushing forward. So if it is that you find yourself in the depths of the tunnel, and take this as the encouragement to know that you will reach the light, you will reach the end, and you're going to look back and it's going to be so worth it. It's going to be so worth it. You're going to be so grateful to your past self that he or she kept putting one foot in front of the other and kept trusting in your unique path, your unique journey to live the purpose on why you came here, because you're so needed. Like, you're needed. You're magical. You're beautiful. You're loving, and your energy is going to assist in bringing about a change that so many of us know is coming, and so many of us can see it in real time being lived out. However, it's going to take a collective shift for the physical manifestation of it to take place. So I will that resonates. I've already been up here for it going on 39 minutes. That's so wild. However, I'm grateful. I'm happy that I went ahead and hit the button and I listened to the inclination, the invitation. It is 2:07 a.m. right now, and I do have a ceremony that I am scheduled for tomorrow, so I am going to go ahead and retire for the evening so that my material can get the rest that it needs to show up in full vitality later on today. Um, if you haven't already, if you can like or comment, maybe subscribe if it resonates. I have a plethora of videos. If it is that you would like some encouragement, some inspiration, um, perhaps receive a transmission or download or communication that's in alignment with your higher path and purpose, with your remembering of who you are and your divine purpose, maybe a omen or a confirmation from your spirit team, your guides, or whoever you work with. Um, if the video or the message or the title resonates with you or the picture resonates with you, I encourage you to listen and receive what's available for you. And as always, I am grateful for your presence. I am honored and grateful to share space and energy with you. And I will you nothing but love, peace, and so much abundance. So until the next time, love, light, and peace, y'all.